Hey guys, what's up? Welcome back to my channel. Today's video will be talking about the most important things you should know before you even apply to any student loan. So you want to make sure you know all these things and you understand them before you even apply to any loan or before you accept any loan offer. So let's get started with it because these things are absolutely important and you should pay attention to the last point I'll make in this video. So yeah, the very first thing you should know is the interest rate. So there's a fixed portion, there's a variable portion of your interest rate. The variable part is always pegged to some index, LIBOR, prime rate, all of that. And there's a fixed part. So usually your loan interest rate or your student loan interest rate will be something like 5% plus 0.2 of LIBOR, something like that. So that's an example. So that 5% is fixed by the loan company or the loan provider. And then the variable part would vary based on how the prime rate or the LIBOR rate or whatever index they've pegged it on or to will vary based on how that one changes basically. So what you must know about your interest rates is there's a fixed portion, there's a variable portion. So you want to pay attention to those two things because the variable one could really be variable. Yeah. I said that again. Anyway, the variable one could, become really high or low depending on how the index is changing. So you want to just make sure you pay attention to that. And when you're considering different loan options, you want to check like what's the difference between the variable portion for this one, what index is this one pegged on, and what is this other one pegged on, or what rate is it pegged on, things like that. So you want to make sure you really pay attention to that because that could make a lot of difference. Don't just pay, many people just pay attention to the fixed part, like, oh, this company is offering me 5%, this one 4%. But the variable parts for these two loans may be very different and could really make that difference. So make sure you understand the loan terms in terms of the interest rate terms and how the interest rate works for each loan option that you have. Another thing you should know are penalties. So you need to pay attention to the terms of the loan agreement really well, like shine your eyes. So you need to pay attention to the terms of the loan and make sure you understand like if there are any penalties. Some loan options will say there are penalties for early payment or if you don't start making payment by this date, this is what will happen. Just make sure, the way life happens, it's when you, like in future or a few years down the line when you're done with that degree, you forget whatever terminology or whatever penalties you signed or you agreed to when you were taking up the loan. So just make sure you pay attention to it and you make a mental note of whatever penalties are attached to that loan. So if there's a penalty for early payment, that means, if you're supposed to start paying, let's say March next year, but somehow you got a great job, you're doing great, and things are working out well for you, or you won a lottery, something, and you decide to start paying early, there'll be some penalty for you, if you start paying early, if there's an early payment penalty. So that's an example. But make sure you pay attention. You read the fine lines. It's not something you read on the bus on your way back home, but you read the fine lines of this agreement and ask questions. Make sure you understand how the penalties work, what you need to do or not do. Because like interest rates really add up, like the amounts you pay in interest really add up, and when you add penalties and other fees because you didn't pay attention to something, like guys, it could really add up. So make sure you pay attention to those things. So another thing you should pay attention to is things around like special benefits. So some loans will offer some benefits like discounts. Like if you set up automatic repayment, you get this extra percentage or percentage points of your interest rate. So an example is if you set up automatic payments after you graduate from school to pay back your student loans, if you set up automatic payments, will waive an additional 0.025% from your interest rate. So those things could really, add up because like it's easier to take a loan than repay. When you're repaying all those huge student loans, it is stressful, it is hard. Yeah, like you're going to feel the heat, financially, and it could begin to even affect you in other areas. So Any discount you can take advantage of, do it. Do it. Pay attention to all the discounts. So make sure you ask about discounts or any special offers they have. A lot of them, or a lot of the loan options that I've mentioned on this channel, have things around like, if you set up automatic payments, they are going to waive some points or percentage points of your interest rate. Or there could be other things that I don't even know, but make sure you check for those things. And if you don't see them, you should ask. Like, if your loan provider is not saying anything about discounts and stuff like that, you should absolutely ask, because anything you can get to reduce the amounts you pay back is useful and amazing. So make sure you look out for those discounts or any special offers they have for people taking the loans. So if you've watched this video till this point and you haven't subscribed, what are you waiting for? Please subscribe to the channel, and so you don't miss anything that I share about loans, getting into grad school, financing your degree, things like that. So make sure you subscribe, and if today's video is your kind of video, make sure you like it. Okay, click that like button quickly, and let's just go on to the next point. So the next thing is repayment terms. Guys, this is real. This one is very important. When do you have to start repaying? Some loans, so let's say you're going for a 2-year master's program or a 4-year or 3-year undergrad program. Some loans say you need to start paying the interest before you graduate. But some loans, many actually say you need to start repaying 6 months after you graduate, or 3 months after you graduate, or you need to understand the repayment terms. When do I fall due? When am I supposed to start paying back this loan? Make sure you pay attention to that part. I feel like this is the most important thing to pay attention to, because as a student, you aren't earning enough to pay back your loans, but sometimes some people actually earn enough that they can still pay some things. But you need to pay attention to this, because if you take up a loan, the kind of loan where you have to start paying back interest while you're in school and you don't have a great on-campus job, if you get what I'm saying, that would be so difficult, and you don't want to start defaulting from when you're still in school. That's a problem. So make sure you pay attention to this. You should know when you need to start repaying. Another thing you should know is what is due when. Is it interest that is due when I'm in school, and then principal is due when I graduate? And also, the third thing you need to pay attention to in like repayment terms, in this repayment terms category, is you need to know if there's any grace period. Some loans will say you don't have to pay anything until like 6 months after graduation. Some loans are like, you need to start paying the day you graduate, like before you get home, before you celebrate, pay us. So you need to kind of know the difference between those options, basically. So pay attention to these, guys. I feel like this is really, really important, but of course I think the next point is the most important one, but this is really crucial as well. Make sure you pay attention to the repayment terms so you don't start defaulting. So the last point I'll be sharing in this video is processing fees. Yes, and there's a reason why I think this is the most important one. Of course, the other things I've mentioned are very important, but this one is also really important because many people don't pay attention to processing fees. Actually, when I was considering student loans, I don't think I paid attention to it. I just cared about the interest rate, repayment terms and all of that. But you need to pay attention to the processing fees. Some loans, many of the loans I've shared on this channel, you don't pay anything to apply, but there are processing fees, and processing fees come up or come into the story or the package when you've applied. They've done their verification and all of that, and then they've approved your loan. Once they approve your loan, before they start disbursing to your school or to you, depending on the loan company, there are processing fees. You incur processing fees. So as you read through the loan agreement, you want to make sure you understand what their processing fee is. So it could be 2.5% of the loan amount. It could be 1%. Make sure you understand what the processing fee is. That is really important, and it's something that at least I did not pay attention to that, or I don't think I even considered that. I just cared about the interest rates. But don't be like me. Make sure you pay attention to that, because it could add up. And if you're someone that is considering like 2 different loan options, or two different loan providers. The processing fee, even though they look like the same interest rate to you if you've considered the fixed and variable portion, the processing fee may actually be different. So pay attention to that. It is free to apply, but there's usually some processing fee or loan origination fee, whatever they call it. But there's some processing fee, they could call it different names, and you need to know what that is. If you don't find that on your agreement, of which it should be there, but if you don't find it, you should call them and ask, because there's usually a processing fee, and if they've waived it, that's awesome. But you should absolutely know what you're paying in processing fees to the loan company. All of this to say, those tiny little things, the discount, the processing fees, guys, when you're taking 100K loan or 50K loan or $50,000 or $40,000 loan, it adds up. So you want to pay attention to these things. So guys, that's it for this video. But before you go, just know that I have a ton of loan videos at this point on this channel. So if you are considering loans, even if you're not at that point and you're just applying to schools, but you want to know what is out there in terms of like funding through loans, make sure you check out those videos. I'll link some of them in the description box. I'll maybe put one up here, but make sure you check them out, because like, even if you don't know how to apply to a loan, I have a video where I walk through one of the loan options that you have, the popular ones for international students. I have a video on that where I show you how to go through it step by step. Like on my laptop, I showed you guys how to apply from like step 1. So make sure you check out that video and the other loan videos you have, so you don't make the mistakes people commonly make when they are taking out student loans. So you can be aware, because financial information is important. So make sure you check out those videos. If you want more loan videos, or if you are going through the whole loan application process, or you're considering it and you have questions, any kind of questions, ask me in the comment section right now. If you want more loan videos, you know what to do. You already know what to do. You should like this video. Let me know by clicking that like button right now, and also subscribe so I do more videos like this. That's how you guys encourage me to keep shooting this content, okay? So please make sure you like the video and also subscribe, and I'll see you in my next video.